Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Volsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast.
All right, welcome to this edition of the Waldorf Gridiron Podcast. Today we have a singular special guest. Troy and I wanted to bring in the big man himself, head coach of the Waldorf University Football Warriors, Coach Will Finley. Coach, how you doing, and how's everything going?
I'm good. Good morning. How are you guys?
Oh, we're just lovely.
Fantastic. So what are you going to do for Thanksgiving? What's going on?
We are going to not travel since the long season of traveling and road games and recruiting trips and everything coming up. We're going to, hang with friends here in Forest City, and if there's any players around, most will be home, but I know there's a couple of guys will be around. Trying to see if they can come over for Thanksgiving turkey or whatever we can make, and just watch a lot of football and probably a lot of couch time and Twitter time, and then just wrestling with the boys.
Twitter time. Is that Thanksgiving Day recruiting happening on Twitter, or is that how you stay ahead of the news?
Recruiting.
Yeah.
I don't. My news feed is all recruiting. Probably. I don't see anything else besides that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Just when I'm pouring through Twitter, pretty much mine's all Waldorf football. The coaches, you guys liking, some of the recruits' tweets. Seeing some of the offers out there. It's always pretty exciting from my point of view because I like to dig in a little bit, watch their huddle profile and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun from a spectator's point of view.
Yeah, that's what this time of the year is. We've been out this last week and a half, and seeing guys. We're at the Iowa State High School Football Championship. That was my first time being at the UNI Dome, so that was quite the experience. What a cool thing the state does for all the high school kids here.
Yeah, they definitely do it upright, and that's it's a great opportunity for those kids starting with their semifinal game to at least get to the Dome. If you don't make it to the championship game, at least you can say that you played on the turf at least once at the Unidome. And yeah, a beautiful facility. They've got the McLeod Center right next door. They're a great basketball facility as well. And yeah, UNI has done it right down there for sure.
Yeah, that's and that's also the McLeod Center. That's where they have their premier ortho surgeon in Iowa. I feel like that's where all the athletes that go if they've got something that needs to be doctored up in the off season.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
That's good to know.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's where my son had his knee done. They didn't do it at UNI, but that's where the doctor has his office right there.
Sweet. Well, Coach, congratulations on another successful season. Started off real strong. We started the season out with just that one victory in our first 7 games, 7 straight weeks. Obviously, it didn't end exactly how you want it, but, that's football. That's why we play the game. The team had to overcome some adversity, and, we've had some injuries from some key players and stuff like that. But more than anything, congratulations on a 7-win season once again. So that's a big deal. Yeah,
I appreciate it. We, hats off to our players. I mean, it's what they put on the field and their successes that lead to those victories, and our coaching staff and all the support staff, the support from our president, athletic director, and Gridiron Club, everyone, all the parents. I mean, what a great experience I think this season was, and yeah, coming down the road, we, playing so many games in a row, our depth, maybe some fatigue, just the, I don't know, probably a couple factors. We should have found a way to win, another 1 or 2 there at the end. But, proud of our guys. There was, our last team meeting, we went over all the successes of the season. There's a lot of players of the week. We're going to have some all conference guys being announced, Thanksgiving week. And so a lot of positive things to build on. We lose a lot of great seniors, some seniors that maybe come back, but their legacy, their foundation they've built here is very solid, and we're going to keep adding to it and look to get better. We always talk about going from, we've kind of hit that mark, the seven win season. Well, to go from 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 is really, really hard. And so we have to learn what it is that it's going to take to get there. And I think our guys are hungry. Even after that last team meeting, you can see it in their eyes, like, all right, hey, this was a great season, and we're going to the off season hungry as ever to move forward and try to accomplish what our goals are for next season.
Lots of things to be thankful there, Coach. You mentioned the seniors, of course. A couple of weeks ago, we followed up on Senior Day with the game and kind of went through every single one of the seniors that we introduced on the field and talked about them here on the podcast. And then just the other night at the basketball game, had the opportunity to sit down and just visit a little bit with Sam Huntley as he looks forward to, I think he's going to be around till December 9th, and then he's done with his internship and graduated and heading back to Florida because he wants to get geared up and ready to go for the NFL tryouts. So he's just incredibly thankful and glad to have been back for the program and have the opportunity to play one more time as a Warrior. You've got so many people that it's great to hear that they're hungry, that they're willing to learn, that they're ready to look at the next season, which I guess we feel probably started about a week ago Monday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was an interesting season because we started school so early. We're in the finals, and so we had our team meeting quickly, equipment check-in. Obviously, Coach Buffington was probably trying to put the pieces together from that. But, with finals this week and, guys will be home for 7 weeks, they can take some, time away to reflect on the season, recover their body. Some guys will need surgery, obviously, and, or PT postseason, and then to all the other guys that don't, at 7 weeks, they can build a pretty strong foundation in the weight room, work, and make some money. College student can't ever have enough spending money. And so hopefully take advantage of these 7 weeks and not become a couch potato. Because it can get away from you pretty quickly. All of a sudden, it's Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I haven't done anything. I need to still go buy my mom and girlfriend a Christmas present.
Right. Yeah. Well, it can get away from you quick. I was just thinking about it. Feels like 2 years ago I worked out and I really slipped.
Yeah.
It really got away from me fast. How'd that happen?
Yeah. So I always ask for a new pair of pants, hopefully not a bigger waist size.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was.
Moving into the grande size there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be a 36.
Yeah.
Well, pockets are pushed out on the side.
Yeah. that's the real indicator that you're trying too hard. It's like me with the haircut. It's like your pockets are pushing out on the pants, and it means it's time to make some changes.
Yeah, I have to get after Keela. Stop drying my pants.
Yeah, what's
they're
going on
shrinking.
there? Why are we washing these clothes so much? Come on now.
Yeah. Well, on the theme of thankfulness, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your staff. You had some guys that have been around for a while. Coach Chop has been there. Grad assistant Coach Stu. He's been. Excuse me. Oh gosh, I decided to cough now. Coach Stu's around. Then you brought in some new student assistants, a new GA. In Coach Hart, we got Coach Morrell and Coach Deuce out there, and then of course your two new bright shining stars, Coach Ani and Coach Paramore. You got to be pretty thankful with the staff that you have right now and the job that they're doing for your team.
Yeah, I can't thank them enough, and try to with outside of football, with being around their families and meals and just doing things together. That hopefully shows my appreciation towards them, because I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a big attaboy guy. It's just, we all show up and we all are dedicated to the program and our players and work really hard. So it's sometimes hard to take time to do that, but I can't thank them enough. I mean, the endless hours, the time spent with our players, all the things I don't even probably know that they do, putting out fires or picking guys up and being positive, not only in our offices, but, on campus or in the community. I mean, I can't thank him enough. Coach Chop is the most tenured coach on staff. He was here about 6 weeks before I arrived in the spring of 19. So he's been through a lot with me, and what I appreciate most about him, he's always truthful back to me, whether it's it's what I want to hear, not what I want to hear. And those are the kind of guys you need. You know, he's going to tell me straight up, kind of like my wife usually does. And those are those are good things to have. Coach Christensen, obviously, his knowledge and being around our players. I mean, Coach Ani, Coach Paramore to move up here in the spring late and get about 5 weeks around our guys and turn around a quick summer and put together the offensive production we did, and great. A lot to look back at and a lot of film to evaluate and say, hey, this was great. This is where we can get better. But they're all hard working right now, trying to, close the gap with our incoming players. And like we talked about in our last team meeting, our number one goal is to re-recruit our players that are here and keep them here, because we have a lot of good players and future's really bright. So the staff and the staff's significant others, wives and girlfriends and their families, the time that they commit to Waldorf football and our players, I appreciate their support. I know it's not always easy, and even going into the holidays, it probably ramps up just because of the travel of recruiting. So not only to our coaches, but their families, I appreciate you and know it doesn't go unseen, and everyone in this community appreciates everything you do.
Is there ever an off switch, Coach? You guys go from, starting in the fall with the guys showing up in the early part of August, and then, a little bit of practice. Then you have that first scrimmage, and then, it's preparation for game time. And then it's game prep, game prep, game prep, game, all, throughout those fall months into the early winter. And then you jump right in, day one with recruiting. Is there ever an off switch for you guys? Do you ever get a time of the year where you can just sit there with your feet up for a few minutes and just kind of try to enjoy life?
Well, I hope all our coaches try to enjoy their time when they're not recruiting and thinking about the game. Yeah, I think like for my family, football, we are a football family, so a lot of things we do is around football. Our schedules are probably based around my schedule or our football schedule. And for us, sometimes you just got to put the phone down and we play, the other night, Barrett and Lincoln and I were they were wanting to play tackle mill. I don't know why they call it tackle mill, but we're just tackling each other. Yeah, I think you just got to take those opportunities and set the phone, because you could be on your phone 24/7, obviously recruiting, and I think everyone finds their time to do that. I know Coach Paramore takes Yadira and his wife to Target, and they've done some Christmas shopping. They put a tree up because it's already snowy here in Iowa. They're not used to the snow this quite, really ever, but this early. So
yeah. Well, you're welcome. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, I don't. That's a hard question, Coach, because you don't. Yeah, you try to balance it all, but you can't get behind either. So
I want to take a step back. I like what you said about re-recruit. I think that recruiting is always a subject of conversation, particularly with any sports program and football. I, have some experience with recruiting myself, and we were actually considered recruiting and retention people, because retention is the re-recruit process. I'm glad you said that, because you not only have to re-recruit and retain your staff. Look, you were fortunate to put together, I think, a very good coaching staff, and Andy hit on that, and you mentioned it, confirming that. And obviously we've seen that throughout the season. You want to hold on to those guys as long as you wish everybody that you've got, under your stead well, and then obviously they all have, plans for the future for themselves and dreams and goals and so forth. But of course, as a selfish Warrior fan, you always want to keep the best program and the best people on staff as you possibly can. So you have to re-recruit then, and I like that. And then re-recruit the players. Now, I want you to explain what you think that is and how you do that. But because you do look at our roster, and you see names abound that are coming from other programs, not just the community college transfers, which you expect, but we pick up kids from all over the place, and we've interviewed many of them here on the podcast. They have come from another 4-year program, and they've come here. Well, we don't think about them going from here to somewhere else, and obviously that's a real threat or possibility. So, how do you do that? How do you re-recruit?
Yeah, I think I try to emphasize it to our staff, and we try to do it during the season. With that many guys, it's obviously hard to do because we're game planning, we're playing games, but constantly trying to touch as many conversations or checking in with guys as we can, because we do care about every single one of our guys. Now, not every guy's going to get the same amount of attention, and then postseason is having our exit meetings with players and talking about their future, what went good this year, would you like, would you not like, what can we improve at, position coach wise, offense, defense, and just kind of letting them have an open forum, and then painting a picture for what we see or I see in them moving forward and what they need to work at in the off season, what I see they do really well. And I would say paint that vision, what they're going to be the next, maybe they have 1 year, 2, 3, 4 years left. Let's paint the vision and show them this is where you fit in, Warrior football, and this is why you are important to us. And I always end with, hey, I appreciate everything you do for this program. And I think that's kind of where we end when they leave, and then trying to keep in communication, obviously, over the holidays and all those things. But just, I think painting that vision for how they fit into our program is the most important piece.
Well, I think you've done a great job building a culture that is, that shows the players that you have a unified goal, and that you are a team, and that they're a part of a family. Obviously, that's something that we've heard from the players just time and time again, that they are just grateful for it, and that includes the community, the Warrior Walk, what they see from the folks around Forest City, and that's a special part of it. But I just wonder, do you have a number in mind of what you think what your retention loss could be, a percentage wise, or do you have a goal each year to try to mitigate that to some extent? And then I guess that's a technical question, because then it does, you got the biggest program on campus, and we love Waldorf University, and so what you do, the way you drive your program and keep people at Waldorf, makes a big difference for the university, and as it transitions into its new role and new as a private Lutheran college once again. So any goals that you have in regarding to that?
Yeah, I think without getting into numbers and percentages and everything like that, we want to retain everyone, that we recruit here, because obviously there's a reason we recruited them.
Yeah, right. We
know that's not going to happen, because I think, and like I explained to every incoming freshman, college football to us obviously is one of the best things in the world, right? And all the things that it teaches you, teamwork, accountability, time management, all of those. We can go on and on, but it also is really hard to do, and it's so much different than high school football. And so some guys, right off the bat, like, coaches, this isn't really what I expected it to be. I'm gonna join esports, or we had a guy go to the shoot clay pigeons. I'm forgetting the name of that sport, and you guys probably could edit that out, but
trap. It's trap shooting. Yeah.
Trap shooting.
Yeah.
And
Waldorf has a trap team.
Yeah, they do.
I did not know that.
I think 75% of roster is football.
Yeah.
So I think because of just that, like you mentioned, that family feel, they still feel like, hey, we want to be at Waldorf, but hey, coach, it's my body, or I'm not into it mentally. It's just too much, which is fine too, And So there is some of that right off the bat. And then great, academics is always a huge part of the retention. And that's typically what is the linchpin or has been here for us. And we emphasize, our academics. We added some new steps this fall with our academic achievement center. And then that's something we're always tweaking and trying to get better at is how can we get incoming guys or freshmen or even 4-year guys to realize the importance of the academic side, how to keep up and communicate with professors. And so that is typically our largest hurdle is the academic side, but also we have a lot of strong academic guys. So it's a good thing. And we'll know here pretty quick, a lot earlier than normal, where we sit academically with our early finals in our early semester.
That's good. That's a good point. There are 2 playbooks that a freshman has to learn when they come to any college program, and that is obviously the football playbook. They got to learn the playbook to how to be a college student because, you can drift through. Andy, I don't know how high school was for you. I felt it was pretty easy. And then you get to college and you're like, what's a little serious here. You wake up one day and you're like, quantitative methods. What devil put this in the program? So, yeah.
Yeah. And that you hear the kids, those high producers, those leaders on the team, they talk about that balance between, the athletic side and the academic side, because a lot of those kids, it takes them a little bit to get their feet underneath them. But, once they figure it out, that they know that if you don't do the work on the academic side, it doesn't matter how good an athlete you are, you won't get the opportunity.
Yeah, can't be here.
Yeah, to shine. So, that's a big deal,
So when you're out on the road, and obviously home for Thanksgiving, which is fantastic, but when you hit the road again and, or even, I guess, the Twitter road too, you're looking for folks that can not only do the job on the gridiron, but you got to do the job in the classroom. How's that conversation happen?
Yeah, well, just accumulating conversation with their head coach, assistant coach. Hey, where are they at GPA wise? Have they taken the ACT, SAT? Hard workers, guys are going to show up. There's usually a trend, one way or the other, and sometimes you don't know either. They get mom's not waking them up anymore, or they go the other direction. And I'm gonna do better in college because this is important to me. So I don't know. I don't feel like there's an exact equation of, hey, this guy's going to work out 100%. Because I've seen 32 ACT just couldn't get out of bed, or an 18 that had over a 3.5 and accelerated in college. So there's never one way to hone in on a guy, but I think just building those relationships and communicating the importance of, hey, the number one thing we're here to do is walk across that stage and get an education. So then you can pursue the career that you want to do the rest of your life and fight for you and your family, the house you want to live in, the car you want to drive, all those things that you dream about, you want to achieve. It starts with going to class and finishing your degree. That's going to put you closer to where you want to go.
When we talked with Coach Bolstorff, he told some recruiting stories. For instance, how he recruited Denny Jerome back in the day. Something to be thankful now for Waldorf is our facilities. When Denny Jerome came in on a late bus, Bolstorff said that he picked him up about 2:00 in the morning. They shoved him in a hotel somewhere, picked him up, drove him. He came in on a bus from Ohio, put him in a hotel, got a couple hours of sleep, whipped him around the campus, and put him back on a bus because didn't really want to show him all of the facilities because he said, well, we wanted him to come play. We wanted him to come here. So they didn't show him. Now, so obviously it worked out that he's got a court named after him in a building, so it must have stuck around. But obviously, so now you've got players that you bring in here, and of course, we announce the players coming into the, when you have the visit days on the game days, we've always got, 15 to sometimes 30 kids on the sidelines, which is awesome. How do you feel our facilities match up to other folks in the conference and other places they might be looking at? Obviously, the Gridiron Club is looking to make improvements, but I think that I've heard that we're also as a school, we've got some things to be proud of.
Yeah, no, we do. I mean, I think the Denny Jerome Athletic Center is awesome for our football team. Yeah, the offices, team room, our locker room, all our meetings are held in one facility. Where a lot of small colleges, you might be all over campus, meeting here, walk here, practice on this grass field across the field. So once you get to the DJAC, everything's at 250 or 230 or whatever time you can get over there. We're in one spot until the end of practice, 3-minute walk to a turf field that we get to use daily. And so, I mean, that is huge for our players. I believe that's a huge selling point. And our community, obviously, just, there's not a whole lot of distractions here. It's academics and football, which I think is a positive in a lot of ways, not a lot of distractions. And there's a lot of good people. There's people in the community that say, hey, nice game yesterday, that because of that support. Those are a lot of things we talk about because, yeah, it is a small community. However, what a great small community you want to be a part of. And you've heard it on the podcast, like our guys, it takes some time to realize that, but once they realize it, I mean, they light up like a light bulb, and it's pretty cool to see. And I think we have to be grateful for what we have, and we know we always want to improve, and we've done some little things in the DJAC on our football side. I know Coach Buffett has seen it, the TV upstairs and paint a wall and a new picture here. We, as a staff and for me, I always want to show our guys, because we talk to them, hey, these next 7 weeks, you got to get after it in the weight room and finish strong academically. Well, then I want to show them, as a staff and me and our GridIron Club and everyone involved, like, hey, we're also working to make it. You guys are working to get better, and we're working to get better. And so those little things, I think, go a long way in showing that, hey, we're just not sitting around waiting on you guys to do it. We're also working here to make it a better experience for you. So it goes both ways, and I think our guys appreciate those things. And I mean, it's always tweaking and trying to think of, hey, what's a small thing we can do to make it better for our guys, and those just keep building and building and building. 4 or 5 years later, like, Coach, man, there's been a lot of changes here. This has been a great experience, and I want to give back one day because I want those guys to have the same experience I did.
Absolutely. And I agree that we have good facilities, but from the GridIron perspective, Coach, I can tell you that I think you and I and we're in agreement that I think that this off season we need to have some sort of gathering with our GridIron members or any member of the community, corporate sponsor, whatever, to come in and take a look at our locker room, and we really need to reimagine what that thing can look like and how we can do that. We don't have a ton of money, but I think maybe Thompson Millworks could. We could get in
Sunnyside Farmstead Studios.
Yeah, and so all those good things, but. Little things, just those little things, I always see there's very few plugins in the locker room, and during practice and game day and stuff like that, these kids, nobody doesn't have a smartphone, and their phones are sitting on the floor plugged in because, they forgot to charge it overnight or whatever, and now it's game day and all this other stuff. But, just little things like maybe charging ports here and there and wider lockers so that you can actually fit your equipment in, because we really have the size lockers for junior high football team. They're undersized. And then we need to change the darn pictures on the wall. I think Hilton Bo Joseph, great athlete, and he's a great Waldorf story. And we should maybe leave 1 or 2 pictures to him up. But we've got some big producers and some great photos out there from North Iowa Event Photography and such. That we'd be able to use and start really highlighting, some of our current and recently former players.
Yeah, I agree with that. Looks like we'll have to have a meeting, Coach, and draw it out, and then say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And they say, that's awesome. And they say, this is what it's going to cost. Don't worry about this little guy over here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was on the phone with the locker guy the other day because obviously we played the Fair State game, and so there are some baseline funds that I think we can invest in our program, and then we'll just see what that can get us and what's maybe the best situation, what's the middle, and hey, this is what you can afford. So yeah, I will definitely let you guys know, and
Yeah, for sure.
and anyone else that's involved that wants to come hear him walk around and talk and tell us what we can do and what we can't, and here's what it might cost. So I think that's important, because how much effort our players put in, our coaches, and we want to make it the best, obviously, small college football experience for our guys. And that's a part of it, exactly what Coach said, because they spend a lot of time in that locker room. And if we can make it more comfortable and enjoyable place for them to be, I think that's critical and in the continued success of the program.
So we've talked about. Oh, go ahead, Andy.
No, I was going to say that's also a great recruiting tool. When we bring those kids on campus, and our locker room's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's it looks pretty good. It's especially for a kid coming out of high school or a small JUCO that has limited facilities, to come in there where we can fit 140 different, actually 141 lockers, or 142, whatever, where we can fit, that many guys in and have their stuff there. And of course, you look at the west or the east locker room, it's got those little T-shaped couches over there. They're used on a limited basis, but we got plenty of room. It's just, again, it's reimagining. But yeah, to bring those recruits in and show them a high-class locker room to where they like, hey, this is a big time program. And then, once they get here and see the Warrior Walk and the community support and all those other things, it really, it kind of adds to that piece, that those intangibles. You guys can build the relationships and talk to them and say, yeah, come here. But that's some of the things that the GridIron is going to be committed to bring in some of those players.
Correct. Did you get all that, Coach?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, okay. He was very quiet. He was thinking about it.
No, I was listening. I think I mean, people are 18 to 22-year-olds it's about what they see.
Yep.
We can talk till we're blue in the face, but it's about impressions. Obviously, they're on Instagram and Twitter. You guys obviously know, but it's pictures, what's it look like, and so all those things we can do to make it a nicer place, a more comfortable place, because it has a great foundation, and it is a good place for our players. But you can, like anything, we can always make it better. And that would be huge, and not only for our current players, but the future recruits and their families, to show, again, hey, we're committed to this program, and we're going to continue to make it better. We're not going to stay the same, because if you stay the same, you're probably getting worse.
Right.
And we're going to continue to push and make it better.
So, Coach, let's take a few minutes to talk shop a little bit more. We covered recruiting and what you're out there. Technically, what are we really gunning for recruits? You've got guys that are just giving it everything that they've got on the line, and yet we feel like we're a little small up front on both sides. We've got the guys that have improved and been pretty successful, kicking for us in our kicking and game, and yet sometimes are they as deep a kicker as we had maybe in the past? Are you looking for some additional depth in the backfield on the offense for different things? Because look, we were talking about on a previous episode that once Cooper got banged up pretty good, it's pretty hard to just step in, and those are big shoes to fill. You've got some good guys behind him, but so what are you looking for out there as you're trying to? Is there a priority? What are you trying to build up this season in order to? I'm sure you've identified some things without giving away all your cards, but what are we looking at?
Yeah, I think first is what you said. We have good players that we want to retain, re-recruit and retain and get better, and then we got to add to it size up front, offensive line, defensive line, and it's our responsibility as coaches to try to bring in better talent than we currently have for competition. No one's going to get, you've mentioned it before on this show, iron sharpens iron. So, that's what we're going to try to do is not only size, but athleticism up on the offensive line, defensive line. We feel like in this conference, when the weather changes and it gets down to the end of the season, you got to be able to win the battle up front. And most games are won up front, and we got to add to what we have, but also get better. And so that's a priority. I think we lose a lot of guys in the defensive backfield. Now we have some young players we really like, but again, we're going to add some mid-year guys with athleticism, experience to try to close that gap and bring our young guys along. Now you'll see a huge improvement with the guys we have going into spring ball. That 15 practices focus on only the Warriors, where in the fall it's fast and furious, right? We're getting ready for games. It's guys are banged up. It's game plans. So you're not getting maybe as much development as you need as a young guy. But the spring is where you'll see a huge jump for those guys. We got to bring in some defensive backs. We lose McCoy Yakel and a lot of starting corners for us the last couple of years. So we have to find some experience there. And, quarterback's a unique position with Coop. TJ came in and got hurt, and he's played running back, he's played receiver, so he's kind of a utility player. So we have some young quarterbacks we like too, but I think we need to we're going to find somebody that has a couple of years left that knows the position, that's played a lot, and that can help us compete at that spot. So that's focus and kicking, obviously punting and our kicker, Burgett, and those guys, I think, did a fabulous job. But again, just like in our exit meetings, hey, again, we're gonna find somebody that's maybe kicked in a few more games or has just as strong a leg, and we gotta have more competition at those positions.
Yeah, because that's right. So, well, because iron sharpen iron, that probably is the best way to just let it go with that, because players got to know, I guess, we'll say if there's an ass for every pair of pants, my friend, and so we need to make sure that you're still fitting in yours, and if not, we'll find someone that does. So that's the hard way of looking at it.
Back to the pants.
That's life. Yeah, back to the pants.
There's no easy way to say it.
Yeah,
no easy, because you don't want to. It's not that I'm mad at our team.
Yeah, right.
Our guys are like, hey, we're just throwing you away. That's never the case. It's
right.
Just like, hey, you did a good job, but we didn't reach our goal. So, hey, we got to push the envelope here a little bit, and then I hope you still win the position. That's what it should be. So
yeah, everybody gets stronger that way for sure. So it is Thanksgiving, and we just want to end on a high note with some fun stuff here. We're not going to put you to the test too much, but do you have what is any Thanksgiving traditions that you or your family currently does, or that you grew up doing?
Well, growing up, we always had the Turkey Bowl, tackle football. There's been a couple of broken arms. That was always fun.
Always fun.
I haven't played in a game of football in a couple of years since being up here, because we've stayed, but that was always fun. I think one Thanksgiving I went to Callie's family in Omaha, and they I've never done this before, but write something down you're thankful for of someone in this room, and you read it in front of everybody, and everyone's crying, and I was pretty embarrassed my first time. But we were just dating, so I was like, this is pretty emotional. So those are two things that pop up in my mind. Obviously, watch a lot of football.
Yeah.
Yeah, our family, over the last few years, we have a pie baking contest.
Oh.
Yeah, and so everybody that wants to get in, you bring a pie, and, after you eat too much, then you get to eat a whole bunch of pie to test them out, and then you vote for your favorite. I've entered it once. I did a peanut butter and bacon pie, and the girls in our family labeled it the man pie.
Man pie.
Yeah, and so I was marginalized because of my gender.
Yeah,
and I took great offense.
Yeah,
and I didn't win.
And he didn't win the cooking competition.
No, I didn't get a damn vote.
Man, not even one.
No, it was a rigged game from the get-go.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. Again, marginalized because of my gender.
Yeah, that's a terrible experience to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess we have three that I really like to say that we do every Thanksgiving, and we do play football, which is fun with everybody, but so that's normal. But the other two are the next one is fairly normal, and that is we go around the table while we're eating. We always say what we're thankful for, and that does get emotional. The first round is good, emotional, honest. Everybody's very, very. It is an emotional thing. But the problem is it doesn't end there, as you can imagine with our family. It continues on for several rounds, and each round gets worse. It's, like just, I'll give you an example. It's like, thank God we've got beautiful kids, because being ugly is hard, and we don't want that to, just all this just stupid things like that or whatever. But the favorite tradition, and this is what brings people, and by the way, my brother-in-law Reed, and I know this will surprise you, but when his in-laws came for Thanksgiving a few years ago, he tried to trick them into thinking that we had this tradition where we take the turkey drumstick and we pass it around like a microphone, and that's how you say what you're thankful for, and then you have to take a bite out of it. And I was so grossed out by that, because it didn't start with me. It would have been fine if it started with me, but of course it started with him, and then he passes it to his father-in-law, and I'm like, this is not what we do.
It's always about reading.
Yeah,
right?
Well, they now think that that's what we do, and like, no, that's not it. But what we do and have done for many, many years is we always shoot the turkey. But we shoot the turkey after we've eaten it. So in an unnecessary display of inordinate all-American firepower, we take the carcass of the cleaned-off turkey, and then we just blast away at it until somebody knocks it off the stick.
Nice.
Nice. I've never heard that.
No.
Well,
I guess
that's some good North Iowa fun.
I guess the pie contest doesn't sound that exciting anymore, does it?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's nothing compared to that.
Well, there you go. So if you hear a bunch of blasting away, you can bet that the turkey is being hit. Usually, depends on how long that dinner went.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, talking about thankfulness, most of our listeners know that I've been involved with this program for 3 years now, under you as head coach, helping out with equipment and doing whatever I need to do to help out the coaching staff. And my role has always been, I want to pick up slack so that, because we don't have the largest staff in the world, so that those coaches can do just that. They can coach. They can take their time and worry about their position, worry about game planning and stuff like that. But I am so grateful and thankful for you and for the rest of the coaches to allow me to be that little piece of the puzzle, and it's enriched my life tremendously. I have an affinity and a love for these kids and for the staff that I just didn't really expect. I guess I just wanted to kind of help out with helmets and pads and knee pads and damn mouthpieces. Mouthpieces. But I wanted to help out with that stuff, just again to help that. But I wanted to thank you personally that you've allowed me to become part of your program and try to help out any way I can. I'm going to forever be thankful and do it as long as I can. And as long as you guys will have me, but that's been a piece of my life that I don't know. I didn't know how it could be so enriching, but it sure is, and I will be forever grateful.
Well, you're welcome, and we can't thank you enough. I know it's sometimes those jobs are thankless, but everything in football matters, and it's always a joy to see you on the sideline or popping in during the week. And I know our relationship with our players and just another person that is a piece of what we're building is important. And I mean, all the pieces downstairs, the helmets, the endless amount of pants, the jerseys, the scrubbing of stains. I mean, it's just, it's endless. And I appreciate you and everyone that helps, but you especially, because you have pride and it's important to you. So I can't thank you enough.
I appreciate that, Coach. But it's one of those things that the kids say all the time. They'll be talking about something that they probably wouldn't be talking about if you or Coach Paramore or Ani or Chopper were down in the locker room. Yeah. And I'll come walking around the corner, and they're always like, "Damn, I kind of forget that you're always in here, Coach."
Yeah.
And again, I don't go, I don't go tattletale on the guys because I just usually give them a bad time. But it's been a lot of fun.
I can tell you that as Andy's nose to the grindstone, hands on. I don't do nearly as much that like he did, but I am thankful for you and your family and the sacrifices that you guys make, being away from kin and then making your family up here, including your players. I'm as a community member, so appreciative of what your demeanor is with the program, your leadership as a coach, teaching other coaches how to be good coaches, teaching your players how to be good players, good men, and some of them will go on to be coaches, whatever they decide to do. You've made a huge impact on them and on our community, and I just am very grateful for that. And I can attest, Coach, that the affinity that Andy's got for the program and the players is evident. I don't want to embarrass him, but
no, not at all.
It can't. But when we did our senior episode a couple of weeks ago, that was a very tough moment, I think, for a hot minute there. He got to the end talking about Gerard a little bit, and that was something that touched him pretty good. So there's a guy that's got his heart and soul, doesn't ask for anything, just wants to see success of the program. And so I'm thankful for you, Andy, for what you put into this and the opportunity to do a podcast about Waldorf football. Who would have thunk? And here we are in 30 some weeks into this production, and we're building in our listenership. We've got regulars, and we just want people to know, if we can, this is our way of shouting to the world, this is the best small college football experience in America.
Always has been, always will be. And I guess if I'm going to talk about thankfulness too, I'm also thankful to Josh Littrell for bringing you on board and putting you in the position that you're in now. And unfortunately, Josh is now down in San Antonio. He's at Earl Warren High School. They had a playoff game last night. Unfortunately, they didn't win last night. And because we thought about maybe trying to bring Coach on with you, but I wasn't gonna interrupt him, because he might be licking the mood wounds today, a little
probably.
bit.
Yeah.
But thankful that he brought you up here and established that relationship with you and pulled you away from your alma mater and brought you up to Waldorf and continued that degree of greatness that he started back in 2017.
Well, I did see, Coach.
Yeah.
You did post on Facebook recently about Benedictine. So the assistant coach that he got a Coach of Character award or something like that. Is that right? Was that one of the guys that you coached or coached with?
Coach with, yeah, Coach Caleb Cook. We shared an office there for 3 or 4 years, and became really close. Our families became close, and he played at Washburn. He's a Northeast Kansas kid, grew up in Holton or Sabetha, one of the two, but Sabetha, Kansas. And they have a playoff game today, and he was selected as assistant coach of the year, and I'm happy for him and his wife, and they had a baby this last year. And it's just the relationships. Obviously, you mentioned Coach Littrell. I never thought I'd live in North Iowa, and we'd be thriving up here with just a great community. And I mean, you never know where the big man's going to take you, but it's if you're surrounded by good people and a lot of great experiences will happen that happen that come from that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just I guess it's a great place to live as long as you don't look outside today.
Yeah, wow, this is being recorded the weekend prior to Thanksgiving. Coach, we're in a fishbowl of white right now. It's just hilarious.
I can't see the road.
Yeah, you may not experience it when you're where the bunker is currently located. I'll tell you right now, it's a fishbowl of white. So
a little early for
right?
that.
Yeah,
I'm thankful for snow because it makes you appreciate the warmth so much more. Starting in about April or May, which seems like a long way away.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know the next step is getting the kids back and having them on campus, getting in the weight room, building, getting stronger. The actual 23 season started, Monday after the last game, one way or the other, and that is where all the work happens is in the off season. The rest is just showing off. So I know you're going to hit the road. The staff is going to be on the road. You've got your re-recruiting to do. I love that. And there's going to be all kinds of wonderful things happening as we lean into the 23 season, starting with the spring game in a few months. And then, of course, just like it's just a cycle that keeps on keeping on, I guess.
For sure.
No doubt about it.
Yep. All right, Coach. Well, we're not going to keep you from your family any longer. We want to thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to join us here on the podcast, which you've done a few times before, and I know we'll have you again. But we want you to enjoy your Thanksgiving and whatever traditions you have, spending time with your sons and your wife and your family and friends and some players and stuff like that. So, good on you, and have a very, very happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, I appreciate you guys too.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for everything you do, Coach.
All right, with that.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thanks, Coach. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Waldorf Gridiron Podcast featuring head coach Will Finley. For Troy Thompson and Andy Buffington, I want to thank you for joining us on this beautiful Thanksgiving Day. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone listening, and forever and always,
Go Warriors.
You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club today by sending a check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
Or message us by visiting and like our Facebook page, Waldorf Gridiron Club. Or email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com.
Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the Gridiron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. $100 is the black membership at $9 a month.
The $250 level is purple at $25 a month.
$500 is the Warrior membership at $45 a month.
The all-conference level is $750 or $65 a month.
$1,000 is the All-American membership at $85 a month.
The champion level is $125 a month, and that's $1,500 a year.
$2,500 is the Hall of Fame membership.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to football student athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.
I mean, this is like no one else does a podcast about a football team and everything they do. It's again, I can't thank you enough. I know it probably goes unsaid, but all those, just this alone and talking to our players and the positive reinforcements and the taking over the Gridiron Club and driving that. And can't thank you guys enough. You guys have done a lot, and Andy just doing being the treasurer, so I don't have to run the bank, and I mean just all those. I mean that's a small thing, but it's been able to put a lot more time into what was probably more important during the season. And
couldn't agree more.
So
I'll tell you what, I'm looking at. We need to do. This is what we got to do is you need to decide what you want that locker room to look like. We need to have some sketches made of what that looks like. We got to have some prices put to that, and that includes, like Andy said, maybe some electrical rework. We need to spend some time thinking about that. We need to do that either now and when we're around and nobody else is, and say this is what it should look like. Then we need to get some drawings done. We will have it ready to go by the time the kids get to campus in August.